This is how we upgraded our garden from this to this by adding 9 epic raised garden beds.
How many of those did you take?
I took 9. Yeah, I did, I think, slightly overcommit.
Last year, I loved gardening so much that I knew this year I had to go big or go home. So we started off by marking where we wanted to have our garden, which was the entire back corner of our lot. I'm so thankful that we were able to have a company come in and pull up all of that sod because holy smokes, it was so heavy. Once it was all leveled off, we put down some weed barrier to keep the weeds out, then added in pea gravel so it looks pretty, and added in some edging so I can plant some flowers in the future. Then the fun part comes, or so I thought.
Megan, are you okay?
So instead of putting all my raised garden beds together, I laid on the floor in agony with the stomach flu for 3 straight days.
What are you doing? It's coming out of me like lava!
But thank goodness for Mr. Linda because he came in clutch and spent 2 whole days assembling our raised garden beds, leaving one just for me because I wanted to do one because it's so freaking fun. We got our raised garden beds from epicgardening.com. Cannot say enough good things about these beds. Yes, it was a little bit time consuming to put them together, but they are solid. These things are gonna last us for years and years, and they're so beautiful.
Look, it's like I'm wearing a skirt.
The next part had me pulling my hair out because I was trying to figure out what was the best way to arrange these things because once these puppies are in, they are not moving.
How long is this going to take?
But finally, after about 5 hours of arranging everything, we got them all in place and figured out an arrangement. Looking at it, I thought it was so perfect, except for the fact that there was a little bit too much gray, so I decided to paint a couple of the beds white.
Gosh, my fingers hurt.
Now your back's gonna hurt because you just pulled landscaping duty.
Once they were dry, we put them all back in place and leveled them all off. And by we, I mean my husband. Next up is filling these bad boys. Because some of them are so tall, we knew we had our work cut out for us. So I started by breaking down some leftover boxes and using those as a weed barrier on the bottom of the beds. And as you can see, we still had a ton of space to fill up. And if we filled this all with soil, then that would be mad expensive and we weren't about to do that. So thankfully, we were thinking on our toes and we kept all of that sod that we ripped up from the yard in a big old pile behind our fence.
This is intense.
We had just enough sod to fill up the bed 60% of the way, and then it was time for some dirt. We used 1 yard of topsoil and 1 yard of compost, mixed that all together, and my handy dandy husband once again came in clutch and lugged every speck of dirt back into those garden beds. This was easily the hardest part, but once all the soil's back in those beds, that's it. You don't ever have to do it again. You have dirt for the rest of your life. I felt so bad that I couldn't help him. I tried to move 1 wheelbarrow of dirt and I nearly tossed my cookies.
Nothing's happening. Oh my God.
So the next thing we had to do is amend the soil because there's no way we're going to be able to grow anything in this nasty, dry, crusty soil. So I added 2 to 4 bags per bed of this Burpee Organic raised bed garden soil. So I added that in as well as some vermiculite, which is like tiny little white sponges that keeps the soil moisture high. I also added in a little bit of peat moss and some organic fertilizer to give the plants a head start. And then I mixed my entire life away. My arms were so buff the next day, it was insane. And then finally comes the best part, planting. I planted corn, romaine lettuce, kale, green beans, beets, zucchini, yellow squash, tomatoes, cucumbers, celery, carrots, potatoes, strawberries, blueberries, you name it, I planted everything. And of course, it wouldn't be complete if I didn't have a little bit of help from Farmer Tucker. It was insane to me how fast this garden just blew up. Everything just thrived and was happy. This was literally one of the most healing and joyous experiences of my life. To be able to grow something from seed and watch it thrive to the point of producing food so you can feed your family just baffles my mind and makes me so insanely happy.
Knee high by 4th of July. It is the 10th. It's way past that.
Everything turned out exactly how I envisioned it, and I am so excited to continue gardening throughout the year.